Hey guys, welcome to Gwhisky. I'm Jeff. Now, as some of you guys know, I recently did a video with another YouTuber who goes by the name of First Phil, and we had a lot of fun shooting it together. The video's doing really well. There's even some people out there calling it the greatest video on the internet. And seemingly out of a desire to build on the success of that first video, Phil gave me a call the other day. He called me up and he said, Jeff, actually, that's not true. He said, Jeff, he said, let's do another video. This time, let's put it out on your channel. And I thought, okay, great. I like the idea. So we started shooting ideas back and forth, and I quickly realized that all of Phil's ideas were horrible and that Phil's fucking insane.
How anglerfish, mate. I can tell you about Dragon Ball Z characters. I don't know. The male bites onto the female one and then like the skin grows over it.
And so I told him, you know what, instead of all that, let's make this video about you. Let's learn about you, your background, your story. And from there, the idea started taking shape. Because you all know the man, you all know the videos, you all know the just ridiculous accent. But behind all that, who really is First Phil? That's what I want to explore today. We're going to be looking at the history of the man here, how he got to where he is, and at the end of the video, Phil's going to answer a bunch of questions that I asked him. If that sounds interesting, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. And as usual, guys, I have a mystery pour in the glass here, so make sure you stick around to the end of the video and I'll let you know what that is. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present the first ever Gwhisky biopic, Deep Inside Phil. First Phil was born in New Zealand, Australia in 1955. He was the first of 4 brothers. His parents, Sven and Gertrude, were Japanese immigrants who had fled to New Zealand in the 1800s to escape the Great Potato Famine. They were often away from home as they were active members of the New Zealand military. As a result, Phil often found himself as the head of the household, taking care of his younger brothers, Second Phil, Third Phil, and Gorkon the Destroyer. It was these formative years taking care of young children that would set Phil on the path to get heavily into high-proof alcohol. Years later, when Phil had reached the legal drinking age, which is 6 in New Zealand, Phil tried his first whiskey, which was a beer. From there, he was hooked. Later on in life, Phil's early adult years would see him develop a taste for wine, learn how to finger paint, get married, have children, and even move to London, where he would try, unsuccessfully, to learn the English language. However, throughout all this time, whiskey remained Phil's true passion. Upon returning to New Zealand, he realized it was time to start a YouTube channel. Not only would it be a perfect place to share his passion for whiskey, he could also justify buying countless bottles of heavy liquor to his wife. "It's for the channel," he would say. And Phil's wife, let's call her Gisela, wouldn't believe a word of it. But Phil's channel was growing. And before Gisela knew it, her husband was raking in tens of dollars through Google ad revenue, which quelled her reluctance. In 2023, Phil would work with Gwhisky, or Jeff, who is known for his short, quippy whiskey reviews and for eating donuts during his voiceover work. Their collaboration would take the whiskey world by storm, catapulting them both to stratospheric levels of success and fame. And that, dear viewer, brings us to now. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you questions for First Phil. Right, well, that was a load of horseshit. Let's do those questions then.
What are there alternatives that you love and want to recommend? Yeah. So I like, I really like rum. I think in one of the videos I did, I talked about how the Dawley's 12, which is a 4-square rum, it's a great rum for a whiskey enthusiast because it's like a complex, nice sipping rum. So I do really recommend that. Other alternatives, I mean, I'm I really like wine. Before I started my channel, I was actually considering starting a wine channel, but ended up going down more the whiskey route. And yeah, with wine, I really recommend a Chilean Carmenere. If you want a big punchy wine, go for a Carmenere. That's the grape. What else? If you want like a good supermarket cheap wine, go for like a Spanish Rioja or Rioja. I think you can say it both ways. Great wines, absolutely love them. When I lived in London, like every Friday we'll go to Tesco's and we'll get a Rioja. It was great.
Okay, yeah. I can't say I've had much in there, but I have had the Dorleys and I recommend it. The price is right. It's got some good complexity, and you're right, it does fit whiskey drinkers very nicely. So, good one there. Yeah, back to the other guy.
Name 3 whiskeys you tried and immediately bought backups for. So, bought Charlotte 10 when it's on special. That's one I'm like, well, I'm always going to want one of those on the shelf. So, if I can get it for a good price, I'm going to get more of them. The other was Bunnahabhain 12. Another one. I always want one of those on the shelf. So if it's on special, I'll get a few of them. But the one that I probably bought the most unexpectedly was when the Glenlivet Illicit Still came out. In New Zealand, I don't know what it is. I think Pernod Ricard probably has a big presence in New Zealand because they own lots of vineyards. Maybe the import costs go down or something. I don't know. Don't know logistics. But we got it in New Zealand for $65, which is insane. It's like as cheap as some Johnny Walkers. It was only like $3 or $4 more than the traditional Glenlivet 12. So what I'm talking about here. So immediately, because I was like, when are you going to get a 48, it's not even 46, 48% non-chill filtered natural colour. This is a licensed dram, not the illicit still though. I think I finished off all the illicit stills one. So I bought a whole lot of these because I was like, this is great stuff. This is the stuff that's like on the defense in your whiskey collection. And that's probably a question for you, Jeff. Like, do you have whiskeys in your collection that are like defense whiskeys? Like whiskeys that kind of to stop you drinking your expensive, nice whiskeys. And when this is $65, it's like, it's a Friday night and I'm not analyzing the whiskey and I'm not too fussed about going deep on it. And I know this is going to be a good sipping whiskey.
Right. Well, first off, I thought we agreed this was my video. I don't know why you're asking me questions in my video. Seems just kind of... But yes, I do have a defense whiskey, as you put it. For me, my defense whiskey is the King's Barnes Dream to Dram. That's something that's affordable. It's very reachable. I find myself coming back to a lot. And I know I'm not breaking the bank with it. Another one would be Craig Alki 13. But actually, there's a few, classic lighter. There's a few out there that I could probably put in that position. But yeah, good ones.
What's a whiskey that enthusiasts love that disappointed you? Okay, you're going to love this one. I think a whiskey that disappointed me was, and maybe it's just because it was hyped up so much and it won like best whiskey, is the Glen Scotia Victoriana. I mean, I totally get this is just a personal preference thing. A lot of you guys absolutely love it. And look, I don't mind it. Like, I think it's fine. It's just not something that kind of wowed me for me to really think, oh, wow, this is like the top whiskey for so many people. I think it's all right. It's fine. It's good. It's a nice cask strength whiskey. It just doesn't blow me away like it does lots of other people. So that's probably what I disagree with a lot of enthusiasts. Kilkerran 16 is probably another one. I don't love it. It's not like super amazing. I think it's fine. It's good whiskey.
Yeah, I think someone out there just had a stroke hearing that you don't love the Victoriana. I am a little bit with you on that one. I do like the Victoriana, and depending on the batch, sometimes I like it a lot, but I don't have the passion for it. I don't love it the way some other people do. I do like Kilkerran 16 though.
What is a whiskey that you have a love-hate relationship with and why? I'd kind of almost reframe the question, what's a distillery I have a love-hate relationship with? And that's probably going to be Loch Lomond. I love the Loch Lomond 12. It's fantastic, great whiskey. I recommended it in my top underrated whiskies video. And then I bought the Inchmeren 18, which is like their peated version or whatever, because it was like one of the cheapest 18-year-olds you can buy. And that was a weird whiskey, and I did not like this whiskey to this day. I haven't even finished the bottle. And I don't know, maybe I got a bad batch or something, but I really didn't like that. So it's just crazy. I had a bottle from them, which is like fantastic. Absolutely loved it. And another bottle that was just like, no, didn't like it.
Yeah, agree. Loch Lomond. Some good, some bad. All right, so our next question, this one's kind of on me. I made a little mistake when putting my questions together. I sent a lot of questions to Phil, and I didn't expect that he would answer all of them. He did answer all of them, so I've actually got a lot of stuff that he sent me, which means I can't all fit it into one video. I will have to put out a second video with First Phil, so make sure you come back for that. But yeah, in my haste, I sent off a bunch of questions to him, and I didn't really look over the page very well, so there were some interesting questions that made it through, and Phil's a trooper. He answered all of them.
He's I don't know what's going on with some of these questions. I mean, the third question he asked is just like, what's the question mark? And now 17 is like, what's a whiskey bottle that? That what? That what, Jeff? A whiskey bottle that you like to put up your... What are we talking about here, Jeff? I don't know. I'm not picking up what you're putting down. I'm not floating on that boat. Doesn't make sense. That really doesn't make sense. Great question, Jeff. 10 out of 10. I know this guy called Doug from New Zealand. Do you know Doug? Look, I got an issue with this question. I think you're making a generalization about New Zealanders, that just because we're a small country that we all know each other, and that is actually not appropriate because we don't all know each other. I do know Doug though. He's actually a good mate of mine. He's a good bloke. But you know, you can't just assume that I do know everyone in New Zealand, because I don't know. Well, I mean, I do know the Doug. Yeah, he's a good dude. I like Doug. Great guy.
Doug's a piece of shit.
So what's the worst whiskey advice you've ever heard? It's a good question. I think the worst whiskey advice I've ever heard, it was actually a TikTok I saw by a whiskey influencer, and they said that the reason bourbon is better than Scotch is because bourbon is aged in new oak, and Scotch is aged in, you know, single malts, often aged in whiskies that had a previous liquid in it. But that doesn't make it better. Scotch distilleries most of the time don't want to age their whiskey in virgin oak and new oak because, and if you watch my cask video, when you put whiskey in a new oak barrel, the tannins are strong. It's really astringent. Yeah, and you get like lots of very kind of off notes and stuff. So what sherry or bourbon does to the cask is it takes away a lot of those kind of like really tanniny flavors and swaps it with nicer flavors.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, if someone's putting out content where it's like, the reason bourbon is better than Scotch, you've already lost me on the premise. And I say that with all due respect to bourbon drinkers. Like, I've got a cousin who prefers bourbon to Scotch, and I still love him despite his disability, which I think speaks to how accepting and open-minded I am as a person. Next.
So I guess I'd sign off or something. Thanks for these questions. Appreciate it. Have a good day, and beauty. You guys, go watch our collab we did recently on my channel where we talked about stuff. Jeff said some funny stuff, as he does, because he's a funny guy. Funny dude. That was weird again.
I am funny. Funny as hell. Anyway, big thank you to First Phil. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. As I said, Phil sent in a lot of answers to the questions I asked. Too many to fit into this video, so I will be doing a follow-up. Make sure you come back to that. One can only hope it'll be less ridiculous than this one. Finally, if you stuck around to find out what the mystery pour in my glass is here, I've got Legignine Cask Strength. This is a beautiful whiskey. I reviewed it on the channel not too long ago. You can go check out that video. It is a wonderful whiskey, and it's highly recommended. So that's what I'm drinking. And I guess that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help out the channel, get the Patreon. Otherwise, you can like, comment, subscribe. And if there's a whiskey that you want to see me review down the line, you can put that down below in the comments, and I'll look into it. Bye, guys. See you next time.